Okay, let's unpack this. We've all heard the familiar advice, right? Budget, save, invest early. Standard stuff.
Mm-hmm. The usual playbook.
But what if the best way to understand financial success isn't looking at what to do, but maybe really examining what not to do?
That's an interesting angle.
Yeah, so today we're diving into something pretty unconventional. It's a guide called The Poor Person's Playbook, a guide to financial misery.
Wow, okay.
A
That title certainly grabs you. Financial Misery Playbook.
Exactly. You heard that right. This isn't about getting rich. It's literally a step-by-step blueprint on what you should actively do if you want to stay broke, if you want financial struggle.
Okay.
And the fascinating part, the bit that really got us interested in this source, is the reverse psychology. It lays out these anti-recommendations, 7 clear ways to achieve financial misery.
Right.
And by doing that, it holds up this powerful mirror. Understand what it says not to do, and then you flip it. You do the opposite.
And that becomes your path towards financial well-being.
Precisely. It's actually a pretty clever way to frame what can be a tough topic.
It really is. What's fascinating, I think, is how the source flips conventional wisdom.
Yeah.
Not just to be different, but to strip away the noise, to highlight some basic truths.
Yeah.
By showing so clearly what not to do, it implicitly makes the case, almost forces you to see the actions that are needed for positive change. And at its heart, it suggests that your financial situation, it's less about luck or, just circumstances.
Right.
It's much more about your internal dialogue, your mindset, less external forces, more internal alignment, maybe.
Yeah, mindset keeps coming up. So our mission here in this deep dive is exactly that. We're going to walk through these 7 steps to stay poor from the playbook.
Okay.
And for each one, we'll try to pull out the actionable insight by flipping the script, asking what does the opposite of this step mean for your financial journey?
Giving a fresh perspective.
Yeah, maybe even a provocative one on what it really takes to build a secure financial future.
Sounds good. Let's get into it.
All right, let's dive into the playbook itself. This is where it gets really interesting because these aren't just ideas, are they? They're patterns you actually see.
Oh, absolutely. You see them play out.
So the playbook gives 7 clear actions. Let's start with number 1. It seems simple, maybe, but the implications are huge.
Okay, what is it?
Step 1. Tell yourself money isn't important. Ignore it.
The classic dismissal.
Right. The source describes how you might actively downplay money's importance. You convince yourself it doesn't really matter. It's a convenient story, isn't it?
Very convenient.
And then, simply, you just choose to ignore it. No budgets, no tracking, no real engagement, just mentally pushing it away. Like, if you don't look, it's not a problem.
Yeah. And digging into that step, the source seems to suggest it's not just casual dismissal. It's often a deeper denial, maybe a defense mechanism, a way to avoid an uncomfortable truth about where you stand financially.
Makes sense.
So the opposite, the real insight here, isn't about worshiping money. It's about acknowledging its role as a fundamental tool.
A tool.
Okay, yeah, not just for survival, but it's the currency of options, of choices, of opportunities in your life.
Right, so financial literacy becomes more than just paperwork.
Exactly. It becomes a core life skill. It expands your agency, your ability to act. It lets you make strategic choices, opens doors you didn't even see before. You shift from being reactive to, well, proactive, an architect of your own financial future.
That's a really powerful way to reframe it, from something abstract to a concrete enabler. But what about the resistance? What does the playbook imply we're fighting against psychologically when we try to acknowledge money, especially if we've told ourselves it's not important?
Well, the playbook implies there's a strong cognitive bias happening there. Often, that belief money isn't important. It can come from feeling overwhelmed or powerless.
Okay.
If you feel like you can't control your finances anyway, it's just easier to dismiss their importance altogether.
Right, out of sight, out of mind.
Exactly. So the source suggests that doing the opposite, engaging with your money, understanding how it flows, seeing it as just a neutral tool, that's how you reclaim your sense of control.
It's about building a relationship then.
Yes, based on understanding, not avoidance.
And that engagement, that relationship,
Yeah.
it seems like that leads straight into the playbook's next path to misery.
Which is?
Step 2, spend all your money, treat yourself now, worry later.
Ah, yes, the immediate gratification trap.
Totally. It taps into that powerful, almost primal urge. The playbook talks about prioritizing what you want right now. That new phone, that impulse buy online, the daily fancy coffee.
You deserve it.
Right. You deserve it now and you'll figure out the consequences later. The future is vague.
You know, this really highlights a core concept from behavioral economics.
Mm.
It's called hyperbolic discounting.
Hyperbolic discounting. Okay, explain that.
It's basically where the immediate reward feels way more valuable, like disproportionately more valuable than a bigger, better reward further down the line.
Okay, I feel that.
We all do. And the source is implicitly warning us about falling into that trap. It suggests that if your default is always worry later, you're basically building this constant cycle of financial insecurity.
Always playing catch up.
Exactly. Never really getting ahead. So the opposite means consciously fighting that bias. It means thoughtful spending, really thinking about needs versus wants, and crucially, embracing future-focused planning, like automating savings, the whole pay-yourself-first idea.
Right.
It's understanding that delaying gratification isn't really sacrifice. It's more like a strategic investment in a more stable, maybe even abundant future.
Hyperbolic discounting. That's a great term for it. We've all felt that pull. But how do you practically fight that tendency when everything around us screams consume now?
Well, the playbook isn't really suggesting austerity, like never having fun. It's about awareness.
Okay.
The counter strategy is often about creating friction for impulse spending and making saving easier. Like maybe putting a mandatory 24-hour wait on any non-essential purchase over a certain amount, or setting up automatic transfers to savings the second you get paid.
So you build systems.
Yes, you build systems that make the opposite behavior, the saving, the thoughtful spending, easier than the default impulse buy. The source implies just knowing about the bias isn't enough. You need to engineer your environment.
That's a really practical point. Okay, so ignoring money, splurging it. What happens when the consequences hit? When you feel the pinch, the playbook moves right into the next step.
Which is?
Step 3, blame everyone else for your financial problems.
The blame game. Externalizing everything.
Exactly. This step is all about finding culprits outside yourself. The economy's bad, my family didn't help, my boss is unfair, just bad luck. It's always something or someone else's fault.
Never yours.
Never.
Yeah. The source is really smart here, highlighting responsibility. Or, more accurately, the avoidance of it. Blaming others. I mean, it's a natural defense, right? But it fundamentally strips you of your power to change things.
Because if it's someone else's fault,
then you can't fix it. You're just waiting for them to change. So the opposite of this step is embracing, maybe radically, personal accountability.
Okay.
Looking inward, figuring out what is actually in your control, even if it seems small at first, and then actively looking for solutions there.
But what about those real external challenges? They exist.
Oh, absolutely. This isn't about denying reality. External challenges are real. The economy tanks, people lose jobs, things happen.
Right.
But the playbook argues that true agency, true power, lies in distinguishing between those external factors and using them as an excuse for inaction. It's that shift from feeling like a passive victim to being an active agent in your own financial story.
Victim to agent. That's a big shift. But it's tricky, isn't it? Differentiating real obstacles from excuses.
It is tricky. And again, the source isn't saying ignore reality. It's saying while those external things are real, focusing only on them often leads to what psychologists call learned helplessness. You just give up.
Because you feel powerless.
Exactly.
Yeah.
The playbook argues agency comes from finding the controllable bits within any challenge, no matter how big it seems, and putting your energy there.
Okay, give me an example.
Like, you can't control, say, national inflation rates.
Right.
But you can control your spending habits, maybe cut back somewhere. Or you can control your efforts to find a side hustle or ask for a raise. It's about asking, okay, given this situation, what can I actually do?
Instead of whose fault is this?
Precisely. It's a tough but really crucial mindset shift.
Okay. So from blaming others externally, the playbook then kind of shifts the burden of expectation, which leads perfectly into step 4.
Let's hear it.
Step 4. Expect others, the government, your boss, anyone, to take care of you.
The dependency trap. Waiting for rescue.
Yeah, it really highlights relying on external support, expecting someone else, the government, a generous boss, maybe even family, to provide your financial stability.
Yeah, if we link this to the bigger picture, this step is all about having an external locus of control for your finances.
Meaning you think control lies outside yourself.
Exactly. And the source suggests that real, sustainable financial security, it rarely comes from passively waiting for others to fix your problems or provide that safety net.
So where does it come from?
It usually comes from self-reliance, from proactively seeking and creating opportunities yourself.
It's not about refusing help, though.
No, not at all. It's not about
Yeah.
rejecting help if it's genuinely needed in a crisis,
Yeah.
but it's about building your own strong foundation first.
Okay.
The implication is, yeah, societal support systems are important, but if you make them your main strategy, that's a recipe for dependency. And ultimately, the playbook says misery.
So build your own safety net first.
Right, so external help can add to it, not be the whole thing.
Yeah, I'm with you. Build a foundation so help is a bonus, not the only plan.
Okay, so how does this playbook then tackle ambition? Or maybe the lack of it. It moves straight to step 5. Don't try to work harder or make more money. Just settle where you are.
The comfort zone.
Yeah.
Complacency. Exactly. This describes settling into the status quo, resisting extra effort, not really looking for ways to improve your income or career, just being okay with just enough.
Even if just enough isn't really enough.
Right. Even if it barely covers things.
This is where the idea of human capital really comes into play, I think.
Your skills, your earning potential.
Exactly. The playbook highlights how settling, being complacent, is like letting your most valuable asset, your ability to earn and grow, just depreciate, waste away.
Okay.
So the opposite, the real path to financial vitality, according to this, is continuously investing in yourself, in your skills.
Not just to keep up, but to actually increase your value.
Precisely.
Oh.
Increase your market value, maybe through getting certifications, more education, networking better, or even just learning how to negotiate your salary based on the value you bring.
Right.
The source implies that growth, personal, financial, whatever, it almost always requires initiative.
Okay.
You have to be willing to stretch beyond what's comfortable.
And believe you can earn more.
Yeah, see your income potential as something you can cultivate and grow, not just a fixed amount you're stuck with.
That's interesting about human capital because often that settling, it comes from fear, right? Fear of failing if you try something new or thinking the effort won't pay off. Does the playbook address that?
Oh, definitely. Implicitly, it addresses that internal resistance. It suggests the comfort of good enough can be a really powerful trap, and the effort needed to work harder or earn more. It's not just physical effort. It's overcoming inertia, overcoming self-doubt, overcoming the fear of the unknown.
So the counter advice isn't just work harder.
No, it's more like cultivating a growth mindset, seeing effort and learning as the way to create more value and therefore earn more income. It's about chipping away at that resistance to investing in yourself.
That makes a lot of sense.
Huh.
Okay, so you build your human capital, you want more. What's the playbook's next brilliant way to ensure misery?
I'm guessing it involves money itself.
You got it. Step 6. Don't invest your money because it's a scam only for rich people.
Ah, the investing is rigged myth. Very common.
Totally. This step describes that deep skepticism, that distrust of investing, seeing it as, rigged, too complex, unfair, only for people who already have loads of cash.
Yeah, what's fascinating here is how this step taps right into common myths and that scarcity mindset around wealth creation.
Scarcity mindset, meaning the belief there isn't enough to go around.
Right, or that wealth is a zero-sum game or only accessible to a privileged few. The source directly challenges that. It argues investing isn't some secret club for the rich.
So what is it then, according to this source?
It's presented more as a disciplined process, leveraging things like compounding returns, diversifying assets, things accessible to basically anyone who commits to learning and consistent action.
Regardless of how much you start with.
Exactly. So the opposite is educating yourself about the tools, stocks, bonds, funds, maybe real estate, and understanding how consistent long-term participation can make your money work for you.
Instead of just sitting there losing value to inflation.
Precisely. It's about democratizing financial growth through knowledge and applying it consistently.
That's powerful. Because a lot of people genuinely feel investing is just too complicated or risky only for the elite. What are some of the specific barriers or misconceptions the playbook seems to suggest keep people stuck in this step?
Well, the source implies it's often a mix of things. Feeling like it's too complex, definitely. Fear of losing money, that's huge. And often just a lack of clear, simple guidance.
People think they need huge sums to start.
Yeah, or that you have to be some kind of market genius picking individual stocks.
Right.
But the playbook's inverse message seems to be that simplicity and consistency often win out over trying to be sophisticated.
So start small, automate.
Exactly. Start small, automate it if you can, maybe focus on broad market index funds instead of trying to beat the market. It's about understanding that for many people, the biggest risk isn't actually investing badly.
It's not investing at all.
Right. The playbook highlights that the real scam isn't investing itself. It's the belief that it's out of reach for ordinary people.
That's a really important distinction. Okay, finally, the seventh step in this guaranteed path to misery. And it feels like it ties a lot of the previous ones together.
Okay, the grand finale of failure.
Pretty much. Step 7, don't take risks. If you don't try, you can't fail, right?
Ah, the safety obsession. Avoid failure at all costs.
Exactly. It presents this very logical but incredibly limiting idea. Avoid anything that might lead to failure by simply not trying it. Stay safe, stay small, stay put.
Yeah, connecting this to the bigger picture, this is really about paralysis by fear. It's often driven by a powerful bias called loss aversion.
Loss aversion.
It's our psychological tendency to feel the pain of a loss much more strongly than the pleasure of an equivalent gain. We'd rather not lose $100 than find $100.
Okay, yeah, that feels true.
So the source implies that while being reckless is obviously bad, calculated risks, they're often absolutely necessary for progress, for innovation, for deep learning.
So the opposite isn't being reckless.
No, it's cultivating a mindset that embraces opportunities even when they come with uncertainty. And crucially, reframing failures. Seeing them not as dead ends, but as invaluable learning experiences. Data points that help you refine your approach, build resilience.
Right.
Real growth, whether it's financial or personal, it rarely happens staying tucked inside your comfort zone. The playbook suggests the biggest failure isn't trying something and falling short.
It's never trying in the first place.
Exactly. Never trying at all.
Wow. That's a powerful thought to wrap up the steps. It really does seem to capture the whole philosophy of this playbook. So what does it all mean when you put these 7 anti-recommendations together?
Wow.
The playbook is pretty clear, isn't it? Being poor isn't just about the number in your bank account.
No, not at all. It's about something much more fundamental.
Yeah.
The source states it very directly. Being poor is all about your mindset, not just how much money you have or don't have. Change the way you think, and you can change your life.
That really sums it up.
It does. It emphasizes that all these external behaviors we talked about, ignoring money, blaming others, avoiding risk, they're just symptoms, manifestations of deeper internal narratives.
So it's about changing those internal stories that hold you back.
Flipping the script on those limiting beliefs.
It's a powerful framework then. Understanding how these simple, maybe courageous shifts in perspective, just consciously doing the opposite of these 7 steps to stay poor, can lead to really profound changes in your financial outlook and maybe your whole life.
Yeah.
It definitely challenges you to look at your own default settings.
And the source ends with this direct, almost empathetic line, I don't want you to be poor.
Right.
So, considering these anti-steps we've just walked through, maybe the question for everyone listening is, what single mindset shift, when you invert it from the playbook's advice, do you think would have the biggest positive impact on building financial freedom in your own life?
That's a good question to ponder.
It really is. It's worth thinking about and acting on, because the playbook argues, pretty convincingly I think, that your financial destiny is far more in your control than you might realize.